You please be seated. Morning, everyone. This is an arraignment docket for the Boulder Municipal Court. The purpose of this session is to help you decide what you want to do with your case today. You have the following rights in this court. You are presumed innocent until you are either proven guilty at trial or you plead guilty. It's the prosecution's burden to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to hire and be represented by an attorney. If you need a brief continuance to have time to talk to an attorney, just let me know that when it's your turn at the podium, and we'll give you that continuance so you have time to do that. If you're facing a potential jail sentence and you're unable to afford an attorney, you may be eligible for the public defender. If you think you financially qualify for that and you want to apply, let me know that when you get to the podium as well. You have the right to a speedy and public trial. In this court, a speedy trial means a trial within 91 days of a plea of not guilty. In all cases, you do have the right to a court trial. You may also have the right to a jury trial. If your case is eligible for a jury trial, there are two things that you must do before there are two things you must do before you can get that jury trial. First, you must file a written request with our court. We have forms for that, and you would do that at the counter where you checked in. You also must either pay a $25 jury fee, also at that same counter, or ask the court to waive that jury fee because of your financial circumstances, also at that counter. You have the right to remain silent. No one can force you to say anything about your case, and any statements you do make must be voluntary. Please note that there is a recorder going in the courtroom this morning. So any statements you make in this main session could be used against you if your case were to go to trial. You have the right to cross-examine witnesses, which means ask questions of the prosecution's witnesses against you at trial. You also have the right to call your own witnesses. If you don't have an attorney, you can ask our court clerks to issue subpoenas on your behalf that would, or to give you subpoena forms so that you can compel your witnesses to come to trial if you need to. You have the right to appeal any final decisions of this court. The appellate court for this court is the Boulder County District Court. They are in the same building, and their clerk's office is right down the hall here. You must file your initial paperwork for an appeal within 35 days of a final decision by this court. You have the right to be informed about any charges against you, the points associated with that charge, and the maximum penalties for the charge. The maximum penalties for the charges that are here this morning, we're on a traffic docket. And if you're charged with a traffic infraction, that's those lower level offenses, the maximum penalty is $500. If you are charged with a traffic offense, the more serious infractions, then if you are over the age of 18, it's a $2,650 fine and up to 90 days in jail. If you're under 18, it's just the fine, but you can also get 2 days of detention. And then, it's the fine with probation and up to 2 days of detention. And then if a juvenile was to violate the terms of probation, I said that all wrong. Let me back up. It's a if you're under 18, it's a $2,650 fine in probation. And then if the juvenile was to violate probation, then it's up to 2 days of detention. I apologize for that. I also want to let you know that I have to tell you what the maximum penalties are. I have no intention of sending anybody to jail today. None of the offenses or that are in here are, while they are legally jailable, it's not something that is going to happen this morning. So please don't be worried about that. And as far as fines go, even a $500 fine in this court would be highly, highly unusual. So please don't be worried about that either. All right, when I call your case, I'll tell you any of the charges against you, any points associated with those charges, and if the prosecution has already made an offer in your case. And let me be clear about that. All plea bargain offers do come from the prosecution. They have authorized the court in certain cases to tell you what their standard offer is. It saves time that way. We do want to be as efficient as possible and to get folks in and out of here as fast as possible. But be clear that those offers do not come from me. I'm just telling you what they are. When I call you to the podium, I'll ask you how you like to proceed after that. And you generally have 5 options. One is that if you do have a plea bargain offer, you can accept that plea bargain offer. Second, if you don't have a plea bargain offer, or even if you do, you can talk to the prosecution to try to get a plea bargain offer or to try to improve upon the one you already have, that standard offer that I convey to you. You can plead guilty as charged, although I really don't recommend you doing that unless and until you talk to a prosecutor first. Oftentimes, you can do much, much better after talking to a prosecutor than you can just simply pleading guilty to the charge. It is, in my view, very much worth the time investment. It might take you a few extra minutes, but worth the time. You can plead not guilty and set your case for trial. That's the 4th option. And finally, you can request a short continuance, either to talk to an attorney, like I mentioned earlier, or so that you have time to think about what you want to do with your case. If you do accept a plea bargain offer today, or you otherwise plead guilty today, in most cases, I'll sentence you today. And then any fines that you're assessed, you're expected to pay those today. In just a few moments, I'll begin calling cases. If you're here in the courtroom, when I call your case, please come up to the podium that's in the middle of the courtroom there. And if you're on Zoom, then please turn your camera on and your microphone on and say hello so that you pop up on my screen and we can have a conversation. All right, so finally, I do want to say if you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask them. I will do my best to answer them for you or to get you to the right place where you can get those answers. All right. First up this morning is Jesus Rodriguez. And Mr. Rodriguez, I understand that your son is here and he is going to be translating for you. Okay. And yeah. And son, what is your name, sir?
Omar.
I'm going to ask you to stand up so you can whisper in his ear. Omar, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you promise that you will translate everything I say from English into Spanish accurately and everything your father says from Spanish into English accurately?
I promise.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Rodriguez, you are charged with spilling a load on a street. That's a violation of 7224 of the Boulder Revised Code. It's a 0-point offense. We do have an interesting situation with you because you do hold a commercial driver's license. Are you gonna, sorry. And do what you can and then I can repeat whatever.
Can you just explain to me like the situation of how it happened? Do you want me to explain that to you or?
Anything your father says you should be. Were you able to explain everything I said because I was talking and didn't realize you weren't also talking to him?
Oh no, you're good. So he said that basically the little dirt he had was wet, and as soon as he started going, the dirt, like the force of the dirt, came to the back of the door and pushed it open, and that's when it spilled out.
Okay, so I understand that you want to explain that, and because you have an explanation, and go ahead.
Oh.
Fue lo que pasó, que llegamos para la primera patente cuando le dieron seguimos
He's just basically just telling me the explanation again, just same thing I already told you.
Okay. So understanding that you have an explanation and also because you have a commercial driver's license, in my mind, it makes sense for you to have a conversation with the prosecutor.
Your Honor, this is your pointer, so there's nothing to mask.
I was going to ask about that.
Zero pointers don't get reported to the DMV, so in my mind, it's not even really a CDL case.
Okay. Do you want to hear what, explain what you're... Okay. So what the prosecutor was explaining is that because it's a 0-point offense, it doesn't really affect your commercial driver's license. So your options this morning are you cannot get a better offer. So talking to the prosecutor wouldn't do you any good. But you still have the other options available to you. Would you like to plead not guilty and set for trial, plead guilty, or ask for a continuance to have some time to think about things or talk to an attorney?
He said he'd plead guilty.
Okay. All right, I have a few questions to ask you, so bear with me just a minute. And let me also pull your case up. Bear with me just a moment. It's a lot of clicking. All right, so I do have there is no pre-authorized offer because again, the offer doesn't get any better. But to plead guilty, you would be pleading guilty to the offense charged.
I have this ticket pulled up on the other screen. That's all.
Thanks. And let me read that to you because it is your right to know and understand the charge. I've never had this charge before, so we're all going to get an education this morning. All right. So the charge again is 7-224 of the Boulder Revised Code, spilling load on street prohibited. No person shall drive, move, stop, or park any vehicle on any street unless such vehicle is constructed and loaded.
Yes. I understand.
Okay. And the load thereof securely covered to prevent any of its load from dropping, sifting, leaking, or otherwise escaping therefrom. This section does not apply to the operation of equipment for street maintenance, which yours was not. All right. Again, that's a 0-point offense. So how do you plead, sir, to the offense of spilling load on a street, a violation of 7-224 of the Boulder Revised Code?
porque sé que se cayó la tierra que traía, movió la plaza, pues soy
So he thinks that it's still his fault regardless, because he thinks it's his fault just because the dirt came out of his trailer.
Okay. And that's alleged to have occurred on May 8th of 2025 at 8:08 in the morning at Baseline Road and Foothills Parkway. So do you plead guilty or not guilty? Okay. All right. So let me I want to look at your driver history and the notes on the ticket. And then I'll ask you if you have anything you want to say to me before I impose a fine. driver history. You've been a driver in Colorado a long time.
but 30 something years. 35 years.
So it looks like you had following too closely in August of last year.
Awesome. Yes.
And the last thing before that was an offense in 2018. Two offenses in 2018. Okay. All right, sir, is there anything you'd like to say to me before I impose the fine in your case?
He said he has nothing to say.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
He said he has nothing to say.
Okay. All right, sir. So ordinarily our fine on a 0-point offense is $100. You do have some recent history, so I am going to charge you the $100. You can pay that today, sir?
Yes, I can pay that.
All right. There are also $30 in court costs for you to pay. So it's $130 total.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to send you out of the courtroom back to the counter where you checked in, and you'll pay that there, and then you'll be done with this case.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, and thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Andrew Getz. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. Did I pronounce your name right, sir?
Yes, you did.
All right. All right, Mr. Getz, you are charged with careless driving. That's a 4-point offense. It's alleged to have occurred on April 19th of 2025 at 12:30 in the afternoon at 28th Frontage Road and Colorado Boulevard.
Yes.
In your case, I do have a pre-authorized offer. And if everyone wants to listen up, anybody who has a pre-authorized offer essentially has the same pre-authorized offer. So what it is you could choose to plead 2 points down. And in your case, that would be 4 points minus 2 points to a 2-point offense with a fine. Or you could choose to plead 3 points down. And in your case, that would be a 1-point offense with a fine and a class. You can also talk to a prosecutor, plead guilty, plead not guilty, and set for trial. And of course, have a continuance if you feel like you need one. What would you like to do with your case, sir?
I'll take the 1 point,
1 point? All right.
but I'd like to make the point about this, that,
Certainly, and I'll give you that opportunity.
okay.
All right. All right, so in your case, and everyone also please listen up to this as well. It's a little odd how we get the points down. In cases like yours, we make up an offense. And in your case, it would be to defective
I
vehicle.
understand that.
Okay, but just for everybody else in the courtroom, it's not if you're gonna take an offer pleading down, and you don't have a CDL, commercial driver's license, then you would be pleading guilty to essentially a made-up charge. But that's how we get the points down in your case.
I know headlights are popular.
I'm sorry?
Headlights are popular? No headlights?
Oh, I'm sorry, yours is a 1 point of it, you did say.
No, I'm just saying that I know that's a popular charge.
That is actually the one, I said defective vehicle.
Yeah.
The general one is 2 points, but defective headlight is a 1 point, and that is the one you would be pleading guilty to in your case. All right, so. Again, a few clicks here. Been on vacation for 2 weeks. I'm a little out of practice. All right, so the charge you would be pleading guilty to, sir, is a defective headlight charge. It's essentially you had one headlight operating instead of two. That's a violation of 732609 of the Boulder Revised Code. It is, again, 1 point. How do you plead to that charge at the date, time, and place I described earlier?
Guilty.
Okay, I'll accept that guilty plea. I am going to look at your driver history and the notes on the ticket, and then I'll ask you what you'd like to say.
Okay.
Okay. It looks like you had a charge earlier this month. You pled guilty earlier this month to a charge from March. You've also been a driver in Colorado for a very long time.
I started driving Boulder Yellow Cab in 1981,
Oh my.
and I've not experienced police being aggressive in Boulder.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear
I've
that.
not experienced police being aggressive in Boulder before this.
Okay.
This officer was demonstrating his masculinity.
There's a charge in 2022. And a whole bunch of old stuff, really old stuff. That is the disadvantage of being licensed in Colorado for a long time. It's probably true in any state, but everything from the beginning of time appears. All right, sir. So I've taken a look at that. What would you like to tell me?
That I believe that well, for one thing, I think the barricade in question was unnecessary. And that it was relating to the, quote, spring game where they were trying to keep people from turning right off the frontage road there, which is illegal already. It didn't require a barricade in order to do that. I was going 2 blocks across the street, across straight ahead, in not something that otherwise would have been illegal. They had a barricade up. I assumed it was a construction barricade. And as you may know, that we quite often have signs that say the road is closed, when in fact they're saying this lane is closed. And I took it to mean that, being surprised to see the barricade there.
Okay, let me ask you a question though, because it said you were in the northbound lane even though you were going southbound.
I was, well, yes, the southbound lane was closed. So I went over to the northbound lane to go past it. There was no traffic there.
Okay. All right, sir. So
why he had that barricade there. I assumed it was a construction barricade, but apparently he was armed for, maybe he didn't have a chance to be somewhere at some other barricade and needed a barricade in order for him to go out and show his masculinity. But,
and I am sorry that you feel like you had an unpleasant interaction with a police officer. I will say though that if there is a barricade up, whether you think it's necessary or not, you do need to
well,
abide.
just like the barricade, like half a mile down here, that it says the road is closed. And then if you get in the middle of the intersection, if you're coming south on Broadway, you get to the middle of the intersection, you'll see that you're supposed to be going into what would otherwise be oncoming traffic. The signage is not, changes often and it's not very good.
You feel like it was signed poorly. Okay. All right, so our our fine for this is normally $125. I am gonna leave it at $125. There are also $30 in court costs for you to pay. You can pay that today, sir?
Yes.
All right. Can I see the summons again?
Yes.
Right, so you will need to take a level 1 class in order to get the 3 points down. It's a level 1 class for you. You can get information on that at the counter where you checked in. They will also take your payment today.
All right.
All right? Have a good day, sir.
So do I get something from you or I just walk?
You go to the counter and they
And
will
they will know.
know and they will take care of that paperwork for you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Have a good day, sir. Jeffrey Hale. Good morning, Mr. Hale. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I wish to cooperate here.
That's quite a statement for a Monday morning.
Yeah,
And Mr. Hale does have a CDL.
Okay.
It's-
And you have a CDL, sir?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you are charged with careless driving. That's a 4-point offense. You do, in your case, the offer is a little different. It is, we can't give you the standard offer. I shouldn't say the offer is different. The situation is different. We cannot give you the standard offer because of the CDL. And also, you're aware of the federal anti-masking law, I presume.
Federal anti-masking law?
Yes.
No, ma'am.
So in short, and I'm sure the prosecutor will explain it to you further, but we have to report to the DMV. If you were to plead guilty or be found guilty, we would have to report the actual charge to the DMV. You could talk to the prosecutor and potentially get the points down, but in the situation of a person of a CDL, we don't change the charge. I know that sounds weird. It sounds weird to me. So, but it might make good sense for you to talk to the prosecutor this morning. Would you like to do that?
I would like to do that.
All right. Mr. Reynolds?
Well,
What time is it here?
we're gonna step on out here.
Okay.
Step out, and then when you come back in, I'll recall the case.
All right. Just follow me, sir. My name's-
Asahel Alvarez? Sir, tell me how do you pronounce your name? I know I butchered it.
Asiel.
Asiel, okay. It is Alvarez?
Yes, Alvarez.
All right.
Correct.
Mr. Alvarez, let me pull your case up here. You were charged with 6-point speeding, particularly going 88 in a 60-mile-an-hour zone. That is a 6-point offense. Let me look at, how old are you, sir?
What was that?
How old are you?
22.
22, okay, so an adult driver.
Yes.
All right. All right, you do have the standard offer, which is 2 points down or 3 points down. 2 points down with just a fine, or 3 points down with a fine in a class. So either plead guilty to a 4-point offense or a 3-point offense. You can also talk to the prosecutor to try and improve upon that offer. You can plead guilty, plead not guilty and set for trial, or ask for a continuance. What would you like to do with your
May I
case?
speak to a prosecutor, please?
You certainly may. Ms. Reifenberg is available for you right now.
Thank you so much.
So we'll pass your case for the moment and talk to you again in a few minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Nicholas Stergos. And Mr. Stergos, you are on Zoom.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm well. All right. So in your case is also a little bit different. Yours is a photo case. there are no standard offers in those cases. If you are welcome to talk to a prosecutor if you feel like you have some mitigating information or you feel you want to challenge the photo enforcement ticket altogether, you can plead guilty, you can plead not guilty and set for trial, or you can ask for a continuance. What would you like to do?
Not guilty?
Not guilty. Do you want to try to talk to a prosecutor first? I'm guessing that your statement of not guilty has to do with the photo in the picture?
Photos, video, yes.
I'm going to suggest rather than not plead not guilty and set it for trial, at least have a conversation, at least at this point anyway, have a conversation with the prosecutor. It may be something that can be dispensed of more quickly.
Yes, sure. I'll talk to the prosecutor.
All right. They are both out. We only have 2 in here today with us. They are both out with someone, but you are next in line and we'll have someone with you as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you.
All right. If you, you are going to get an invitation to a breakout room. If you will accept that invitation, somebody will join you in that breakout room soon.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Simone Jennings. And Miss Jennings is here with Dad. Dad, you want to come on up too? Good morning. How's everybody? I mean, other than probably would rather not be here, but I get that. All right. So Ms. Jennings, you are charged with failing to avoid interfering with the vehicle ahead. So it sounds like maybe a little fender bender of some kind. That is a 4-point offense. I do have the standard offer to make to you in that case. So 2 points down with a fine, 3 points down with a class. So in your situation, that would be plead to a 2-point offense with a fine or a 1-point offense with a fine and a class. You also have the other options available to you.
I would like to do 1 point with the class.
1 point with the class, and Dad, that's okay with you?
Yes, please.
All right. Give me just a minute. Find my mouse here. There it is. All right. There you are. All right, so the charge you would be pleading guilty to is the same as one of the gentlemen before you today. It's defective headlight. You're supposed to have 2 operating headlights. The charge is essentially you only had one of your headlights was out. That's the made-up charge to which you would be pleading guilty this morning. Is there anything you do not understand about that charge? Understanding fully that no one is accusing you of actually having done it. Do you understand what you are going to plead to?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's a violation of section 732 of the Boulder Revised Code, and it's alleged to have occurred on April 22 of 2025 at 5:27 p.m. at Table Mesa Drive west of Tantra Drive.
Yes.
All right. So how do you plead to that charge of defective headlight at the date, time, and place I just described to you?
Guilty.
All right, I'll accept that guilty plea. Let me take a look at the notes on the ticket and your driver history, and then I'll ask you if there's anything you want to say.
Okay.
Okay, so thought you left enough space and found out the hard way that you didn't.
Yes.
And you got a clean driver history, that's great, like to see that. All right, anything you want to tell me?
Just that I understand that it's my responsibility to like stay far away.
Excuse me. Ma'am, if you need to talk on the phone, I need to ask you to leave it.
Turning it off now.
Thank you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just that, like, I know it's my responsibility to stay as far back as, like, what's needed. But when I talked to the woman in front of me, she also just apologized because I think the person in front of her had to brake really quickly to turn left because it was on Table Mesa. But there's no, like, turning lane. So they broke really quickly and then, like, she did too. And then, yeah, so I don't know.
I'm assuming though you're gonna leave more space now.
Yes.
Good, that's what I like to hear. All right. So our fine for this is ordinarily $150 when there's an accident. And taking into account the fact that you're gonna have to take a class, excuse me. And also that you have a totally clean driving history, which I appreciate. So my clicking skills are not up to par this morning. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna make the fine $125. There are $30 in court costs that you have to pay, and you will of course have to pay for that level 1 class. You're able to pay that today, ma'am? All right, so 125 plus 30 is 155 if my math skills are working this morning. And then my understanding is that level 1 class costs $60, but you will pay the provider for that class.
Okay.
All right? Anything else for me?
No.
All right. Yes, Dad?
Will they give us information at the?
They absolutely will. They'll take that payment for you and give you information on the class. You'll also get another court date. It's a deadline for taking that class and making the payment. If, you know, once in a while, folks can't pay the day of. And they'll give you a deadline for that. If you get everything done you're supposed to get done, you never have to appear again. Let me back up. If you get everything done you're supposed to get done and you get proof to the court, you never have to appear again.
Okay.
Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else?
I don't think so.
I'll do it.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
And I am assuming we will not see you again.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. I have faith.
Yes.
Megan Bramier. I, again, no, I butchered. Just like it's spelled is what you're saying. All right, and you are also here with Dad. Nice to see you, Dad. You look very nice. I hope you didn't dress up just for me. All right. Ms. Brandmeier, you are also charged with failure to avoid interfering with a vehicle ahead. That is much like Ms. Jennings before you. That is a 4-point offense. You have the same offer she had, pre-authorized offer. You can plead to 2 points down to a 2-point offense with a fine, or 3 points down to a 1-point offense with a fine and a class. You are also welcome to talk to a prosecutor to see if you can improve upon that offer, plead guilty, plead not guilty, or ask for continuance. What would you like to do?
Can I do the 1 point with the class?
Certainly. Well, okay with you, Ed? Certainly. All righty. All right, so were you listening closely?
Kind of, yes.
Kind of, yes. All right, so how we get that down is we make up a charge for you to plead to, and it would be that same defective headlight as it was in Miss Jennings' case. So again, nobody's accusing you of having a defective headlight. It's just how we get the points down for folks who don't have a CDL. Let me get to your case. All right, so again, you'll be pleading guilty to defective headlight, essentially having one headlight out or not operating. That's a violation of section 732609 of the Boulder Revised Code, and it's said to have occurred on May 10th of 2025 at 11:21 in the morning at Baseline Road and 28th Street. Anything you don't understand about that charge? You have to answer out loud.
Yes. Or no, I don't. I understand everything.
Okay, excellent. All right, and how do you plead to that charge at the date, time, and place I just described?
Guilty.
Okay, I'll accept that guilty plea. Let me take a peek at the ticket and your driver history, and then I'll check in with you. So took your attention off the road for a little bit. I'm guessing you learned a little something from that.
Yeah.
Excellent. And you'll also learn some more in the class that you're going to take. You know, I probably don't need to tell you that eating yogurt while you're driving is probably not a super great idea. Certainly while you're not with no eyes on the road. All right. Anything you'd like to say to me before I impose a fine?
No.
Dad? No? All right. Again, this is much like Ms. Jennings, this is normally a $150 fine. You do have absolutely no driver history whatsoever, so that's fantastic. So I'll make that much like her, I'll make it $125. There's $30 in court costs to pay as well, so a total of $155 to pay today. All right, and then you'll have to pay for that class as well. Any questions for me?
No.
All right. This in here. Okay, so I'm going to send you out of the courtroom back to the counter where you checked in. They'll take your payment and they'll also give you information on the class.
Thank you so much.
And much like her, they'll give you another court date. And if you get everything done you're supposed to and get that into the court, then you never have to appear.
Thank you.
All right. Y'all have a good day. Mr. Reynolds.
Mr. Hale.
Recalling Jeffrey Hale.
And it should be pretty quick, Your Honors. I had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Hale, and we ended up filing a motion to dismiss for proof problems.
Okay.
I feel like the other driver was just as at fault, so.
Okay, sounds good to me. He's filed the motion already. I haven't signed it, so it's not official yet, but it'll get signed later today. And for your purposes, the case is dismissed. So
Okay.
you're free to go, sir.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
Let me just get a note in here. All right, Ms. Reichenberg.
Can I call Mr. Alvarez, Your Honor?
Certainly, Mr. Alvarez.
And Your Honor, I spoke to Mr. Alvarez, and it is my understanding that he wants to take a 2-point reduction and pay the fines and fees today. We did discuss the other options in terms of a level 1 class and a Live at 25 class, but it's my understanding he just wants the 2-point reduction.
Okay, I just want to make sure of something, Mr. Alvarez. You said you're 22. You are in the most expensive category of people to insure. So just making sure you understand that before I take a plea from you. Okay, and you still want to plead to a 4-point offense, plead 2 points down with a fine. Okay. All right. All right, sir, so the charge you would be pleading guilty to today is 4-point speeding. Yours, the 6-point speeding is 20 to 39 over the limit, 20 to 39 miles per hour over the posted speed limit. 4-point speeding is 10 to 19 miles per hour over the posted speed limit. That's a violation of section 7458005 of the Boulder Revised Code. It's alleged to have occurred on May 9th. Trying to figure out if that's a 9 or a 4. 9th. May 9th of 2025 at 3:57 in the morning at Table Mesa and US Highway 36. Anything you don't understand about that charge, sir?
No, I understand it.
Okay. And how do you plead to that charge, the 4-point speeding at the date, time, and place I just described to you?
I plead guilty.
I'm sorry.
I plead guilty.
Okay, great. Everything's being recorded, so.
No, I'm already sorry about that.
All right, let me take a look at the notes and then your driver history, and I'll ask you if there's anything you'd like to tell me. Okay. So got a ticket in New Mexico in January.
Yes.
All right, also speeding ticket, so not awesome.
I know, I'm sorry.
You're not gonna take the class, so, I am going to admonish you a little bit that, sounds like maybe running late here or there.
Yes, I have some company keys, 'cause I drive a company van, and I was in a rush taking these keys. It was early in the morning, I had to work at 2 in the morning. So I was just trying to get these keys down to them, and I was just rushing, which I didn't see these police officers.
Yeah,
And
well, just a word of advice that you are the one person in total control of your time management, so. Again, especially being that very expensive category to insure, gonna recommend that you plan a little better.
yes,
All
I
right.
understand, thank you so much.
All right. So ordinarily, it's a $150 fine for that. Given the very, very recent speeding charges, well, I'm gonna leave it at $150. There are $30 in court costs to pay as well, so that's $180 for you to pay today. You're able to make that payment?
No, Your Honor, I'll see if I can talk to the people at the desk over there and see what we can work out.
Okay. How much can you pay today?
I like around $60 to $80 today I can be able to give.
Okay. Can you make the $80 payment today?
Yes.
Right. And how long do you need to make the rest of the payment?
It's about a week. A week is fine.
Okay. All right, so the note I have in this system is that you pled guilty to 4-point speeding today, that the fine is $150, court costs $30. You're gonna pay $80 today, and you need approximately 1 week to pay the balance.
Correct.
Okay, so what will happen is you'll go to the counter, they'll take the $80 payment from you. They will also give you what's called a pay or appear date. So you would need to come back to court if you're unable to make that payment,
Correct.
which is for the balance.
Okay.
So even if you make a partial payment and you haven't made it all,
You start to come.
you would need to come to court. If you are able to make that payment, then you would not have to come back to court.
Perfect.
Okay?
Perfect. Sounds good.
All right. If you want to head out to the counter, they will take care of taking the $80 payment and giving you the pay and appear date and the information where you can pay online.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Sounds good, Your Honor. Thank you.
All
Have a
right.
good rest of your day.
You too. Take care.
Thank you.
Joanne Karpinski? Good morning, Ms. Karpinski. Good morning. All right. How are you today, ma'am?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I am doing well for a Monday morning after 2 weeks of vacation.
Yes, good way to put it.
All right, there you are. Feel like I'm getting back in the groove here. All right, so Ms. Karpinski, you were originally charged with, you were charged with improper lane change, and for whatever reason, the officer put on the ticket that was a 0
I'm
point.
sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you and reading the subtitles.
Oh, if you'd like to step up so you can
Thank
hear
you.
better, I'm more than happy to do that.
That's great. No, that helps a lot.
No, you can step up closer.
I'll come right up then, because
Come right up. All right, so you were initially charged with improper lane change with the officer stating that it was a 0 point offense. You were also charged with valid license plate required, which is in fact a 0 point offense.
And that one has been dismissed, Your Honor.
Oh, it
I have
has.
Proof of
Okay.
registration today.
Excellent. So you have one charge left. The license plate charge has been dismissed. I don't know if you were able to hear me.
yes, that I did hear, thank you.
Excellent. So the remaining charge is that improper lane change charge, but the the points had been amended on the ticket. It is actually a 3-point offense, not a 0-point offense, as the officer had noted. So I do have the pre-authorized offer to make to you. I don't know how much of that you were able to hear.
I think I heard it as much as.
Okay, well, I'm happy to repeat it.
Please do. Yeah, just so I can be sure.
The pre-authorized offer is that you could plead 2 points down and have a fine, or 3 points down and have a fine and a class. Your case being it's a 3-point offense, so 2 points down for you would be for you to plead guilty to a 1-point infraction with a fine only, or you could plead 3 points down to a 0-point infraction with a fine and a class.
I'm a little confused. I thought that I understood you to say that it was a 0-point offense.
No, the valid license plate required is in fact a 0-point offense as it was marked on the ticket.
I see.
That charge has been dismissed. The improper lane change was marked on the ticket as a 0-point offense. It was later amended to a 3-point offense, which it actually is. It is not a 0-point offense.
I missed the amended part. Thank you.
Oh, you should have gotten something in the mail.
Yes, we would have sent it out back on the 28th.
So we did give you notification of that.
Okay.
For whatever reason, it sounds like you didn't get it.
I have been in the process of moving and things are moving around.
That will do it. That will absolutely do it. One way or the other, though, the officer was incorrect. It is a 3-point offense.
I see.
However, the standard offer that I've relayed to you, you could either plead to a 1-point offense, a made-up charge of a 1-point offense with a fine only, or a 0-point charge with a fine and a class. You can also talk to the prosecutor, although unless you have something particularly mitigating or you're saying this didn't happen, the offer doesn't get better than a 0-point offer. You can plead guilty, you can plead not guilty and set the case for trial, or you can ask for a continuance.
I would like to talk to the prosecutor.
Okay, we can certainly do that. I will, if you want to go back and have, Ms. Reichenberg is available. So she's right behind you, and if you want to go with her for a few minutes, then we'll talk to you again when you come back in the courtroom.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Spencer Close.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. All right, Mr. Close, you are charged with, you have 2 charges, one of which is a 4-point speeding charge, speeding 75 in a 60-mile-per-hour zone. The other charge is expired license plate. Do you happen to have proof of registration?
So I have a temporary movement permit, but I have an interesting circumstance that I would love to talk to the prosecutor about.
Okay. I'm happy to give you the opportunity to do that. You will, because you're on Zoom, you will receive an invitation to a breakout room.
Okay.
If you'll accept that invitation, one of the prosecutors will join you in that breakout room in a few minutes.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Charlie Gardner. Well, hello, Mr. Gardner. How are you? Good morning. And Mom?
Good morning.
Good morning. All right. So is this what it appears to be? Young Mr. Gardner here driving?
No, he was on a gas dirt bike.
Oh, okay.
And there's no way to give a ticket for that. So, yeah, we have dirt bikes, and we also have a neighbor who dislikes us. So he had been calling in, reporting the dirt bikes in front of our house numerous times.
Okay. And I understand you want to tell me this story, but
Yes.
because I'm not in control of any offers, there's nothing I can do to change it.
Okay, yeah, you tell us what you're,
Would you like to talk to a prosecutor?
unless that seems best.
That's what makes sense to me. But I do have to hear from Mr. Gardner. Would you like to talk to a prosecutor?
Yes, sure. Yes.
Yes, all right. If you want to have a seat, sir, Someone will be with you as soon as they're available.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're very welcome. James Lane. Good morning, Mr. Lane. How are you?
I'm fine, Your Honor. How are you?
I am doing okay. And I did look at your had kind of a long history on this one. I looked at it
Yeah, it's been
yesterday.
extended and a few times we've had some circumstances.
Okay. Give me just a moment. Let me pull your case up. Glad to see you here, though. All right, so this is a 2024 case. And you are charged with careless driving. You're also charged with failure to provide evidence of insurance. Both of those charges are 4-point charges.
I had a thing worked out with the prosecutor before about the careless, and we were waiting to see about the insurance.
Waiting to see, but do you have insurance now?
No, well, that was the thing, the car was impounded, and so we were waiting to see if I was gonna either come in today with insurance or relinquish the car, because we had a hearing on it. And we lost the hearing, so the car's gone, so I didn't bother getting the insurance on the car, I don't have.
Okay, then what makes sense to me is for you to have another conversation with the prosecutor.
About the careless getting dropped down?
It would be about some arrangement with, because I don't have anything in the file about what would happen to the evidence charge, any failure to present evidence of insurance charge. And then you can also talk to him about if there's any mitigating circumstances with respect to the careless driving.
Yeah, I had done that, I was trying to get that one taken care of, but he said I had to do them both at the same time.
You do.
Because of the package deal.
And then there's also, it looks like there's potentially some restitution in the case, maybe an injury of some sort. I mean, that's old. It was filed in the case in 2024. So it may be that there is none, but at the very least, that issue of restitution in my records is sort of open. So that would be another thing to chat with the prosecutor about as well. All right?
I have once or twice.
Your Honor, will you ask him?
So I'm just waiting for the prosecutor.
And Mr. Lane, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask you, do you have a commercial driver's license, sir?
No.
You do not, okay. All right, thank you. If someone, if you'll have a seat, someone will be with you shortly. We'll go off the record.
And Your Honor, we have two people that checked in.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna pull them up, it'll be Mr. Manning is first.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Mr. Manning will be first. It looks like.
And then who's the second person?
The other person is Mr. Hernandez, and he'll need a Spanish interpreter.
I'm sorry, you called Manny?
Yes.
I'm sorry, whoa.
Good morning, Mr. Manning. How are you, sir?
How you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Now, you were a little late this morning, so it sounds like you missed my advisement. I have to advise people.
I went to the wrong place.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Happens.
Yeah.
But
I signed something. So.
I was going to ask you.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
basically, I have to make sure that you've been advised of your rights. And it sounds like you said I signed something. Did you read that something that you signed?
I did it.
Not really. All right. So let's go. I'll go over your rights briefly.
Yes, ma'am.
You should always read something you signed.
I skimmed through, but I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, good. I appreciate that. All right. So very briefly, your rights are that you are presumed innocent until you either plead guilty or you're found guilty at trial. It's the prosecution's burden to prove any charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to hire and be represented by an attorney. We can give you a brief continuance if you needed to do that. If you have financial circumstances that would make you qualify for a public defender and you're facing jail, you can apply for that if you'd like. And in your case, it's just the license plate charge. So you're not facing jail. So no public defenders available to you. Sorry. You have a right to a speedy and public trial, which means a trial within 91 days of a plea of not guilty. In your case, you'd have a right to a court trial. You have the right to remain silent. No one can make you say anything about your case. Do note that everything here in this main courtroom area is being recorded so that anything you said here could be used against you at trial.
Yes, ma'am.
If you go to trial, you have the right to testify or not testify as you so choose. And if you chose not to testify, that could not be used against you. You have the right to cross-examine witnesses for the prosecution, which means ask them questions, and also bring witnesses of your own. You have the right to appeal any final decisions of this court to the Boulder County District Court. Their clerk's office is down the hall, and you'd have to file your initial paperwork with them within 35 days of that final decision. And also you have the right to be informed about any charges against you. The charge against you is valid license plate required. That's a 0-point offense. The maximum penalty for that is $500. That is not, I'm required to tell you what the maximum penalty is. The fines in this court, it would be highly unusual if somebody got a $500 fine in this court. All right, so I have told you about the charge against you. I have told you about the points. Do you happen to have your insurance now? I'm sorry, your license plate?
I don't, no. And the reason I don't have, that my tags are a year over is I have unpaid toll bills. And my car is registered in Denver County and they are not working with me. So I have to pay them toll bills and I can't afford them right now. I'm basically taking care of my fiance and my family by myself, and I'm barely paying the bills.
Okay.
I got 2 cars. She just crashed one of the cars and I can't afford it right now.
Understood. No, there's nothing I can do about that. I can tell you what the charges are. I could take a guilty plea from you if that's what you wanted to do. And
I mean, I'm guilty of it.
That would cause you a fine. But under your circumstances, you may want to talk to a prosecutor. You may be able to work something out with them. I don't know that. I can't guarantee you that. But if you want to take a few minutes and try to do that, then it could be worth the time. Could potentially be worth your time.
I'm sorry, I doubt anything can happen, but I'll give it a shot.
All right, so it looks like Mr. Reynolds is, or did you have a case to call, Mr. Reynolds?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, so Mr. Reynolds is gonna call a case and then it looks like he'll be with you after.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Sturgos, who's online?
All right. Mr. Sturgos.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Nice to see you again. All right, Mr. Reynolds, what are we doing with this case?
I believe approximately 2-week continuance. He wants to think about his options.
Okay, we can certainly do that. Let me pull up the file. And thank you, Mr. Reynolds. That's all I need from you. I just need to, Mr. Sturgos, if you could stay with me, I'll put a note in your file and then I'll read it back to you just to make sure that we are on the same page.
And Your Honor, if you wouldn't mind making a note in his file too, that if he ever did decide to plead guilty, we'd ask the court to waive the served in person fee.
The served in person fee. All right. Well, that's why I can't find you. I forgot you're the photo ticket. I will certainly do that. All right, Mr. Sturgos, I'm going to make a note here to set this over for 2 weeks for you to think about your case. And then I'll also make that note that Mr. Reynolds suggested just now that they would waive the served in person fee if you do take the offer.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so it looks like we'll see you again in a couple of weeks.
And
Now,
Your Honor, I'll email a court date to him.
thank you. So I don't know if you can hear Ms. Mahoney in the background, but she will send you an email that has that new court date. And
Okay.
Zoom is perfectly fine for that new court date as well.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Have a good day. Ms. Reifenberg.
And Your Honor, can I call Ms. Karpinski?
You certainly can. Ms. Karpinski, step back up. And I don't think you were in the courtroom earlier, Ms. Reifenberg. Ms. Karpinski has a little trouble hearing, so she was up close. If you want to come up as well.
Yeah, okay, so we'll go.
Sorry.
That's okay. Happens. You're not the first. You won't be the last.
Your Honor, after speaking to Ms. Karpinski, it's my understanding that she wants to do the level 1 driving class and plead to a 0-point violation.
Okay. And does that sound like what you want
Yes,
to do?
that's it.
Excellent. All right. So let me pull your file up again. All right. Let me make a note about that other chart. This is count 1. And I'm happy for you to stay here, but if you have something else you need to
Yes, thank you.
you are certainly free
Thank
to
you.
go.
Yeah,
I don't want to hold you hostage.
If I could tell you a little bit about my financial circumstances when the appropriate moment comes
I
around.
will let you know when that appropriate moment comes. How about that? All right, so the charge you would be pleading guilty to is a 0-point offense of seatbelt required. It's a made-up charge. It's basically you weren't wearing a seatbelt when you should have been. That's an alleged violation of section 7-32 of the Boulder Revised Code. It's said to have occurred on May 9th of 2025 at 1:49 in the afternoon at Arapahoe Avenue east of 55th Street here in Boulder. Anything about that charge you don't understand?
No, I understand it. Thank
Okay,
you.
great. So how do you plead to that charge of seatbelt required at the date, time, and place I just described to you?
I'm guilty, Your Honor.
All right. I'll accept that guilty plea. Let me take a look at the notes on the ticket. I will also look at your driver history, and then I'll ask you what you'd like to tell me. Driver history. I have her driver history pulled up right now. Thank you. So it looks like last thing was in 2021.
That would be, yes, that would be right. Somewhat the same situation, actually. That one I was leaving the hospital. And this one I was leaving the donation center. I'm in the process of being forced to sell my house. And so I was bringing a truckload of stuff over to the donations. And it's on account of the having to move that I wanted to talk about my financial situation. I'm just really kind of down to the end of my savings. And when I sell the house, that will help, of course. But at the moment, I'm pretty
tight.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, your recent driving history is very good. ordinarily, the fines start for something like this where there's an accident, the fine starts at $150. Given your financial circumstances, the fact that you are going to have to take a $60 class in order to get this 0-point offer, and your financial circumstances, the class, and also your recent driving history, I'm going to make that fine $100.
Thank you.
There are $30 in court costs to pay today.
Okay.
With your financial circumstances, are you able to make that payment today?
Yes, I can. If I can make it on a credit card,
You
I
can. Yes, you can. All right. Then I am going to save this note in the file. Do you have any other questions for me?
I did, and now I'm trying to remember what it was.
Oh, I hate that.
How do I go about registering for the class?
They're going to give you when you go back out, you're going to go to the counter where you checked in. They will take the payment from you, and then they will also give you information on the class.
Okay.
All right? Mm-hmm. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Good luck with your move.
Thank you.
And your house sale.
I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
We have a Mr. Hernandez.
Oh, Hernandez.
And we'll need to, I can call the Spanish line to start here and then.
Okay, because
I have an iPod set up in a room out there.
Okay.
So let me do that first.
Let's make sure he has done his advisement rights form and he's read it.
Okay. But would you mind speaking to Mr. Hernandez and see if he read his advisement of rights and understood it?
I think we do have. Yep, he signed them.
A lot of people just sign them and don't read it.
I can check.
Thank you.
Your Honor, he understands.
Okay, great. Mr. Hernandez? You can come all the way up here.
Si se va a hacer frente porque le van a hablar ahí.
I'm getting an interpreter. I'm just going to go off camera until we get the interpreter on the line.
Yes, the client is present. We're going to go ahead and put you on speaker. We are in the courtroom, and I just wanted to let you know that, but you'll need to give your ID and name again. So give me just one moment, please, sir.
Okay.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us, sir? Sir, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear.
Good morning, Mr. Interpreter. This is Judge Hill speaking. Can you please give me your name and your ID number?
My name is Aner. My ID number 14271.
And how do you spell your name?
A as in Alpha, N as in November, H as in Hotel, E as in Echo, R as in Romeo.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. On here, if you can raise your right hand for me, please.
Yes, of course.
Do you promise to translate everything from English to Spanish and Spanish to English accurately this morning?
Yes, I do.
All right. We're ready to begin then. We have here with us Mr. Gilberto Hernandez. If you want to introduce yourself to him, we'll get started.
Ok, buenas, voy a ser su intérprete de español. Todo lo que diga será interpretado. Toda la información se va a mantener confidencial. Para garantizar calidad, por favor, hablen ideas completas y frases cortas.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Hernandez, I need to ask you a few questions.
Ok, señor Hernández, necesito hacer algunas preguntas.
And I know that the court clerk asked you this already, but you received your advisement of rights form. Yes.
Y yo sé que el secretario de la Corte ya le preguntó esto, pero usted recibió su advertencias, su planilla de advertencias de derecho.
Sí.
Yes.
And you understood everything on that form.
¿Y usted entiende todo en esa planilla?
Sí.
And you signed
Yes.
that. And you signed that form.
Y usted la firmó.
Sí.
All right. Any questions at all on that form?
¿Alguna pregunta
No, ninguna.
en esa planilla?
No.
No, nada.
All right.
No.
Mr. Hernandez, you are charged with speeding 82 miles per hour in a posted 60 mile per hour zone. It's a 6-point offense.
Señor Hernández, usted es acusado de exceso de velocidad de 82 millas por hora en una zona de 60 millas por hora. Eso es una ofensa de 6 puntos.
Sí.
That's said to have occurred on May 10th of 2025 at 7:15 in the morning at US 36 and Baseline Road.
Eso ocurrió el 10 de mayo de 2025 a las 7:15 de la mañana en la 36 US en la carretera Baseline.
Sí.
All right. I have a standard offer to make to convey to you.
Tengo una oferta estándar que entregarle.
That offer involves a choice. You could plead. Go ahead.
Esa oferta involucra una opción.
You could plead guilty to a 4-point speeding infraction with just a fine.
Usted pudiera declararse culpable con una infracción de velocidad de 4 puntos con solo una multa.
Or you could plead guilty to a 3-point infraction with a fine and a class.
O usted puede declararse culpable con una infracción de 3 puntos, con una multa y una clase.
You could also talk to the prosecutor to see if you could improve upon that offer.
Usted también puede hablar con el fiscal para ver si usted pudiera mejorar esa oferta.
You could plead guilty to the 6-point speeding charge itself.
Usted pudiera declararse al cargo de exceso de velocidad de 6 puntos.
You could plead not guilty and set the case for trial.
Usted pudiera declararse inocente y llevar el caso a juicio.
Or you could ask for a continuance to have time to talk to an attorney or think about what you would like to do.
O usted pudiera pedir una continuación para tener tiempo de hablar con un abogado y pensar acerca de qué es lo que quiere hacer.
What would you like to do today?
¿Qué quiere hacer hoy?
No sé cuál es la mejor opción de las que me dijo.
I don't know what is the best option you told me.
Well, I can't advise you, but I will say that often it makes good sense to have a conversation with the prosecutor.
Yo no lo puedo aconsejar, pero yo le diría que frecuentemente lo que tiene más sentido es conversar con el fiscal.
Would you like to do that?
¿Le gustaría hacer eso?
No sé, bueno, pagar mi ticket de declararme culpable.
¿Perdón?
Pagar, bueno, no sé, pagar el ticket, bueno, lo que se va a pagar y de cómo declararse culpable de lo que hice.
This is an interpreter. I'm going to ask your client to repeat. I don't understand what he's saying. A ver, señor. Hable lento y claro, por favor, y de forma ordenada para yo entender. ¿Qué dijo? Disculpe.
Ajá, la de, ¿cómo me dijo que pagar el ticket y declararme culpable?
To plead guilty and pay the ticket.
There is an offer on the table, which is better than simply pleading guilty to the ticket.
Hay una oferta en la mesa que es mejor que simplemente declararse culpable al ticket.
Uh-huh. If you want to accept that offer, it involves pleading guilty to a 4-point offense with a fine or a 3-point offense with a fine and a class.
Si usted quiere declararse culpable a una ofensa de 4 puntos y una multa, o a una ofensa de 3 puntos con una multa y una clase.
And both of those options are better than pleading guilty to the 6-point ticket.
Y ambas opciones son mejores que declararse culpable a la multa de 6 puntos.
Okay.
Would you like to take one of those options, and if so, which one?
¿Le gustaría tomar alguna de esas opciones y si es así, cuál?
Sí, la primera opción.
The first option.
Okay, so plead guilty to a 4-point speeding infraction with a fine.
Declararse culpable a la infracción de velocidad de 4 puntos con una multa.
Ajá, sí.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So once again, you're charged with that 6-point speeding infraction.
Ok, de nuevo está acusado de una infracción de velocidad de 6 puntos, exceso de velocidad.
But to accept this offer, the charge you would be pleading guilty to is 4-point speeding instead.
Para aceptar esta oferta, el cargo usted tendría que declararse culpable a el exceso de velocidad de 4 puntos.
Sí.
Okay. And
yes.
4-point speeding is speeding 10 to 19 miles per hour over the posted speed limit.
Exceso de velocidad de 4 puntos es tener exceso de 10 a 19 millas por hora sobre el límite de velocidad.
Sí.
That's an alleged violation of section 7458005 of the Boulder Revised Code.
Esa es una violación supuesta a la sección 7458005 del Código Revisado de Boulder.
And it's said to have occurred at the same date, time, and place I described to you earlier.
Se dijo que ocurrió en la misma fecha, hora y lugar que yo le describí antes.
Sí.
How do you plead to that charge, sir?
¿Cómo se declara ante ese cargo?
Culpable.
Guilty.
Okay. I'll accept that guilty plea.
¿Acepta esa declaración de culpabilidad?
Sí.
I will take a look at the officer's notes and your driving history, and then I'll ask you if there's anything you want to say to me before I impose the fine.
Voy a ver las notas de los oficiales y su historial de manejo, y entonces voy a solicitar que si hay algo, le voy a preguntar si hay algo que usted quiera decirme antes de yo imponer la fianza, la multa.
No, está todo bien.
Okay.
No, everything is okay.
And I see that you have no driving history whatsoever.
Y veo que no tiene historial de manejo.
Ajá, no.
Is there anything you'd like to tell me?
¿Algo que usted me quiera decir?
No, está todo bien.
All right. So
everything is okay.
Apologies. So our fine for this is normally normally starts at $150.
Usualmente esta multa es de $150.
Ajá.
I'm taking into account your excellent driving history.
Voy a tomar en cuenta su excelente historial de manejo
I'm going to make that fine $125.
y voy a hacer que la multa sea $125.
Okay.
There's also $30 in court costs to pay.
También hay $30 en corte que pagar.
Okay.
That makes a total of $155. Can you pay that today?
También hay lo que hace un total de $155. ¿Usted puede pagar eso hoy?
Sí, sí puedo.
All right then.
Yes.
Any other questions for me?
¿Alguna otra pregunta para mí?
No, está todo bien.
No, it's okay.
All right, I'm going to send you out to the counter where you checked in. They will take care of that payment for you and you'll be done with your case.
Lo voy a enviar entonces a la oficina donde usted se registró y al mostrador y ellos se van a encargar de ese pago para usted y usted habrá terminado con el caso.
Okay, está bien.
Have a good day, sir.
Okay.
Que tenga buen día, señor.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Interpreter.
You're welcome. This is your Spanish interpreter on air ID 14271 signing off. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
You as well. Mr. Reynolds,
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Close
recalling Mr. Close.
online. He's got a speeding charge and a vehicle registration charge.
Mhm.
If he pled guilty to a 2-point defective vehicle charge, so we just modify the speeding charge. I've moved to dismiss the vehicle registration charge. He's just been having lots of issues with that vehicle and it's currently not drivable. So that's the posture of the case and I believe that's what he wants to do.
Okay, and so you said plead guilty to a 2-point defective vehicle charge. Is that with a fine and a class?
No class.
No class. So 2 points just with a fine. Great. All right, Mr. Close.
Hi.
I don't know if you could hear Mr. Reynolds, but it
Good.
sounds like the offer is for you to plead guilty to instead of the 4-point speeding, you'd be pleading guilty to the 2-point defective vehicle charge. It's a made-up charge.
Yes.
It sounds like maybe not in your case, but it is, for purposes of this ticket, it is a made-up charge. And then he would dismiss the second count of the registration, the expired registration. Is that what you'd like to do today?
Yes.
All right. Then the charge you would be pleading guilty to, let me pull up your case again. There you are. There we go. So the charge you would be pleading guilty to is defective vehicle. It's an alleged violation of section 732 of the Boulder Revised Code. And it's said to have occurred on May 9th of 2025 at 4:24 in the morning at Table Mesa Drive and US Highway 36. Anything about that charge you do not understand, sir?
No, I understand it. Thank you.
All right. Then how do you plead to that charge?
Guilty.
All right, I'll accept that plea. Accept the prosecutor's motion to dismiss count 2. And we'll dismiss that count. If I can type properly, I will do that. All right. So I'm also just going to take a couple of minutes and look at the notes on the ticket, your driving history, and then I'll ask if there's anything you want to tell me.
Okay.
Okay. All right, totally clean driving history. That's always nice to see. Anything you'd like to tell me, sir?
I'd just like to ask for a little leniency on the fine amount. You missed the context I gave the prosecutor. I'm just dealing with a couple $1,000s in trying to get that car repaired. And so I go to see you, and I'm just trying to make it out of college and get all my bills paid before I get out into the real world because it's my senior year this year. Um, but yeah, that's all I have for you today.
Well, congratulations on that. I certainly know what it's like to have that car in college. Been there, done that. All right, and I do really appreciate the clean driving history. All right, so our fine normally starts at $125. In your case, I'm going to make that fine $90. There's also court cost of $30. So that's a total of $120 for you to pay. Are you able to pay that today, sir?
Yes.
All right. Then what will happen is Sabrina, who you've probably spoken to when you joined Zoom this morning, she's going to send you an email that has information on how to pay. And once we have that payment from you, then you'll be good to go. This ticket will be behind you, and you can concentrate on getting the car fixed, finishing that last year of school.
Awesome.
So what are you majoring in?
Business.
Business. Oh, well done. Nicely done. They have a great business school at CU. So excellent. Anything you'd like to ask me? Any questions that you have for me before we let you go this morning?
Oh, that's all it. Thank you.
All right. So just be on the lookout for that email from Ms. Mahoney.
Okay, will do.
All right. Have a good day, sir.
You too. Bye.
Ms. Reifenberg.
And Your Honor, can we recall Mr. Gardner?
We can. Recalling the Gardner matter
Thank you.
along with Mom.
And Your Honor, I had a chance to speak to Mr. Gardner and his mom, Ms. Scheinbaum, and they are going to get my office some information, and if they do so, I will dismiss the case.
Excellent. So we're looking for a continuance then? We can set it out far enough that,
Yeah, let's do that, and
if
then
you're going to dismiss it, they would never have to come back to court.
let's do that.
So maybe set it out 3 weeks, 4 weeks,
Let's do 6 weeks, just.
6 weeks. All right. Let me just take a note to that effect. Get that note in the file. All right, so the note I have in the file is to set the matter out for 6 weeks. And you, Mom, you are going to provide some documentation to Ms. Reifenberg for her office to consider dismissing the case.
Yep.
Okay. All right, Mr. Gardner, do you understand what's happening here?
Kind of.
Kind of. Okay, so we're going to give you another court date about 6 weeks out. And in the meantime, your mom's going to provide Ms. Reifenberg here some information. And Ms. Reifenberg, on receipt of that information, is going to consider dismissing your case. It sounds like they've already agreed if certain information is provided, she will dismiss the case, is what I'm understanding. And I'm getting a nod from Ms. Reifenberg. So you'll have another court date, but if the case gets dismissed before that court date comes around, you never have to come back and see me.
All right.
All right? Any questions for me, sir? No, Mom?
No.
All right.
Thank
You have a good day, sir. Thank you for appearing this morning. We'll go off the record.
Mr. Lane.
Mr. Reynolds.
This is Mr. Lane.
Nice to see you again, Mr. Lane. What's happening today?
So Mr. Lane has a case from last year that has a careless driving charge on it, as well as a failing to have vehicle insurance. He's got a lot going on at the moment, and we actually saw him in jail in March on this case. So there's already been some consequence, but to close out the case, if he pled guilty to not having insurance, then we'd move to dismiss the careless driving charge. And because of pretty extreme financial circumstances, we'd ask the court to waive a fine and court costs in this case.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Lane, you heard what Mr. Reynolds said. Does that comport with your understanding of your conversation with him?
Yep.
Excellent.
Your Honor, there is one thing, Mr. Lean had been reported to collections, so I don't think you can waive that one fine. But
The collections referral,
yeah,
which is,
Can I address that?
it would be the $27.50 is what that fine would be to stay on.
okay, hang on just a second. I hear Mr. Reynolds humming over
Well,
there.
I'm just curious as to how a case got reported to collections for traffic offenses, since jail is a potential punishment. We don't do default guilties.
I would totally agree with that.
I got an email from the collection officer, Tracy or Stacy, I think was her name. I was supposed to either sign it or print it out and sign it and send it back. And I couldn't print it or sign it electronically, so I was waiting until I came in today to sign it physically.
Well, I'm glad you didn't.
But we got extended about 3 weeks. I'm missing court dates and extensions and stuff, so I finally made it in here. I was gonna try and take care of that today.
Okay, so I understand what you're saying, but he should not have been referred to collections. That's our mistake.
Okay.
Because it's a jailable, it's a criminal charge,
Right.
not a civil charge. There is no default on a criminal charge.
Okay.
So, all right. So going back, let's pull let me see the sentence. All right, so Mr. Lane, you're going to plead guilty to the count 2 in your case, count 1 being careless driving. I think anyway, sometimes they get put in opposite. So let me make sure of what it is in the system. Bear with me just a minute. Here you are. All right, so it's actually count 1. They put the failed to present evidence of insurance as count 1 in your case. So you be pleading guilty to that count, and count 2, the careless driving charge, would be dismissed. And do you understand that charge, or would you like me to read the ordinance to you? Okay, you're required to have insurance on the vehicle, and you didn't have insurance.
It expired 2 days before.
Oh, I hate that. Does happen though. All right, and failure to present evidence of insurance is an alleged violation of 7476 of the Boulder Revised Code. It's said to have occurred on May 14th of 2024 at 11:50 p.m. at 30th and Arapahoe. Anything about that charge you do not understand?
No.
All right, then how do you plead to failure to present evidence of insurance?
Guilty.
All right, I'll accept that guilty plea. Let me take a peek at your driver history and the notes on the ticket, and then I'll hear from you anything you want to tell me. Oh, and Mr. Reynolds there was the issue, the open, long ago issue of restitution. Is restitution 0 in this matter?
0.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So it looks like a couple of other charges last year for not having proof of insurance.
Yeah, when I got the first one, I was trying to prove that I did have it, which I did, but I couldn't prove it. And then, while the second one happened, that's the one that expired 2 days before. So I did actually have it on the first one that I ended up pleading guilty to.
All right, so one thing and you also have, a 0-point charge from March of this year. Can I see the rest of that charge? The March, that one, yes.
This is as much as I understand that we can see.
Sir, is your license already suspended?
I just didn't have one.
Do you not have a driver's license? Okay. So one concern that I have, and I don't know, Mr. Reynolds, if you did, that's fine. I just want to make sure it's been considered. There are 2 no proof of insurance NPOI charges from last year, from May of last year and August of last year, separate from this one that he pled guilty to in April. Each of those is 4 points. He also pled guilty to a 0-point charge in March, but pleading guilty to another 4-point offense. And this, because this occurred, because they go by date of offense, not date of plea. So this would suspend, it would give him enough points to suspend his license. Understanding you don't have a license, but it would suspend your privilege to drive in Colorado.
Right.
In theory, right now, you could go get a license.
But it'd be suspended when I got it, right?
Well, they wouldn't give you one if it was suspended, but there's also, if you were to be caught driving after that, then there's some very serious penalties.
That's right. We got rid of both the vehicles.
Your Honor, upon checking with the DMV database, it says that his license is already suspended.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to look at.
So that's what that, but he pled guilty to a 0-point charge.
So it looks like.
Does it say why? Because there's a bunch of reasons you can get your license suspended.
I think it was because of the 0 restitution.
It said something about possibly financial responsibility might be.
Financial responsibility is no proof of insurance.
Yeah, so it does say that.
So separate.
It was effective on this date of the September 3rd, 2024 is when it got suspended.
So what happens, telling you procedurally what happens when you are suspended. Oh, wait. So, and the date of offense on this was when?
Of which offense? I'm sorry.
This one here.
This one was done. Sorry, my mouse.
May 14, 2024.
Okay. So because this occurred earlier, what happens when you drive, when you're on a suspended license? They extend the suspension. But this occurred before you were suspended. That said, it would give you enough points to suspend you. You are already suspended. My belief, but I'm not giving you legal advice. My belief is it could add on to the length of your suspension because it would be a separate suspension. I also think it's possible that because you're already suspended, they would take no action on it. But I don't know, and I don't want to mislead you in any way.
I'm not driving anyway, so.
All right. I understand that. So it sounds like you understand you could face an extended suspension. You still want to do this. The other thing I will tell you, though, is if you start driving again and you're suspended, you haven't taken care of that with the DMV, it's a separate criminal charge.
I understand.
And it does have more serious penalties. It's called driving under restraint.
Right.
So just want to make sure you understand all of that.
I do.
All right. All right, then, I already accepted the guilty plea, so I do appreciate that you've gotten rid of the vehicles and that you're not driving. Is there anything else that you want to tell me?
I don't think so.
All right. Just a minute. Your file has a lot of entries in it because it's been around for so long. Can you talk to me about what your financial circumstances are, sir?
Pretty bleak.
Pretty bleak. All right. Are you working?
I went back to flagging, but without a vehicle, it's kind of a hit and miss whether you get sent out every day.
Okay, so they don't cart you out to the scene. Understood. Let me just take some notes in here. Does the city attorney's office want to weigh in on the fine in any way?
We would ask the court to waive the fine and costs in this case. Just like I said, we've seen him in jail on the warrants in this case, so that was kind of funny.
Did you say that earlier and I didn't register it?
I might have, yes.
Okay, you might have. You can say yes.
And he's also dealing with probation in state court, so it's just like
I'm sorry, dealing with,
probation. In
oh, okay, which also costs money.
Yeah.
All right. And I apologize, I took notes on everything else and failed to write down the bit about the fine and costs. All right, so I am going to take Mr. Reynolds' motion to waive fine and costs. I'm going to grant that. So there won't be any fine or costs for you today. But I do have that you pled guilty to no proof of insurance. It's 4 points. That the second count of careless driving was dismissed on Mr. Reynolds' motion. And I'll just, beg you for your own sake to please don't drive until you get things straightened out with the DMV, because it's just going to cause so much more pain for you. But yeah, so here's hoping you get your finances in a better place and that you can take care of that stuff with the DMV and get licensed and then, maybe be able to go to flagging regularly. So, or find something else that
Right.
pays well.
All right.
All right, anything for me, sir?
I don't think so.
All right, have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Take care.
Yeah, take care.
Your Honor, one last thing, there is a PR bond, but
Oh.
just, can we release that?
Yes, we can release a PR bond. And I did make a note that the restitution is 0. All right, looks like we have Mr. Manning left.
Save the best for last, I guess, huh?
Hey, well,
Oh, I don't know. I'm hungry now. It's been a long morning.
it's been a long morning, so,
Your Honor, after speaking to Mr. Manning, people will move to dismiss this case,
oh,
in the interest of justice.
excellent. All right, well, you heard it from Ms. Reifenberg herself. The paperwork is probably already filed.
It will be shortly.
And I will sign it shortly after it's filed, but for your purposes, right now, the case has been dismissed and you are free to go, sir.
Thank you so much. You guys have a good day.
You too, take care.
We're done.
We are done.
Great.
The record?